came out, and it was immediately thought of, oh, it's a fluffy little, we know exactly what this is. And I had people say to my face, I don't need to read it, I know exactly what it is. And I'm always like, do you? And I was actually really worried about it because I knew from the title what people would expect, and it's not what they expect. So I thought I was going to disappoint people. But instead, people came to it ready to dismiss it and went, oh. And then it went a Newbery Honor, and then thankfully that, gave it a little literary seal of approval. Tomorrow. So I don't know that there's anything cooler for me than one of my stories inspired music, because that's just something beyond my capability. And so I remember coming to one of the later rehearsals and hearing everybody sing. They were just doing song practice, and I was just crying in the audience. The music was spectacular. My first thought was there was a school where girls were going to learn how to be a princess. But when making up a story, you're always trying to make it more complicated. That sounds like a very sweet, simple story. So how can I twist it to make it more complicated? And that was, what if they don't want to become princess? Then why wouldn't they want to become princess? And you start building out the context of their home, what that would mean to them, and then what character has the most to gain and the most to lose. And that's how you kind of build a main character, and so that's where Miri came from. It's very embarrassing to say this because I think Miri is probably the most powerful and admirable character I've ever created, and it's based more on me than anyone else. Oh. But I want to say, usually, when you're creating a character, it's very easy to put yourself in the main character. So I'm always making choices of things I wouldn't do, so the character starts to veer off. Princess Academy was a really hard story for me to write for some reason, and so I just stayed with what I knew. And so she really reacts to things and does things like I would have done when I was younger. Contain her sense of justice, and when things aren't right, she has to set it right, and wanting to make people laugh in order to relieve tension, and never really being sure if she's saying the wrong thing or the right thing, and right. Feeling useless but wanting to contribute. I get all that.
So this is incredible, and I'm such a big fan. Holy crap.
It's Miri in the flesh.
The Bandit Scene. It's just, I'm so excited. I love getting pushed around and bullied. That's so weird to say.
I think it's hilarious that the person playing Dan, the King of the Bandits, played Pater in the last production of this. What happened? I don't know where he came from, but isn't he delightful?
He's so delightful.
With a character, you just start making little choices, and one important one for him was that he wanted to be a sculptor. Mm-hmm. He's this boy who lives on a mountain where they hit rocks, and he's good at it, but he has this artist inside of him that has no place to express himself.
Mm-hmm.
And also just growing up with somebody, and it's friendship until it's not. And you get to that age where it starts to change, mm-hmm. and you don't know how to understand those feelings. As a storyteller, that's very intriguing to me. I love Stefan. It was important to me that sometimes in stories, if a girl is going to have to make a choice about two different boys, they'll make one of them just horrible so the audience knows exactly what's going to happen. It's important to me that all of the characters there's no villains in my stories really, mm-hmm. that they all are just human making different choices, and that we want to root for all of them.
My favorite part is my scene with Miri, because I think it really shows Stefan's character the most.
I love that scene. That's one of my favorite conversations I've ever written in a book.
I really like the Bandit Scene, but I have a specific part of it I like.
Oh.
I like when I kind of I don't know, for the first part I feel a little bit like a follower for a lot of it, but when I not stand up, I kneel up, and I tell them to listen to the mountain, That feels really cool.
Through the process of writing a graphic novel script, there's a lot of things I was rethinking. Like if I was writing this from scratch, in a visual format, in a more condensed version, things that I would change. And a lot of it was about Britta and how she's represented. When you don't have a whole novel to deal with Britta, I was like, got to give her some little moments in there. So both as a mom and as a person in the world and as a writer and as a former theater person, we know how few parts there are for girls, especially teenage girls. And to see all the Academy girls up on stage singing this song of power, I just gave me chills. I'm so thrilled to see this musical. It just warms every little cockle of my heart to see someone take a story I started and then blow it up and make it their own.